And welcome back to another episode of the Strongman Winner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Canby, and this is episode 86 with the return to the podcast of the Big Thicket, aka Trey Mitchell of the USA. The two-time Shaw Classic champion and four-time World's Strongest Man finalist is currently getting ready for the Arnold Classic, but is already confirmed with two other majors with World's Strongest Man and also the Strongest Man on Earth. So let's catch up with Trey since he was last on and talk all things strongman, his preparations for the Arnold Classic, what he's excited for, what he's not excited for, and what we can expect from the year. And also, I want to dig into his big deadlift from Giants Live, the current American and world record for Raw. So let's tune in for another episode of the Strongman Winner Circle podcast with Mr. Trey Mitchell III. Today's episode is sponsored by TsunamiBarSports.com, and Canby shirts are still available at oddobjects.co. And if you're enjoying all the episodes, consider being a member and supporting the show and get exclusive videos to all things Canby Dude. And without further ado, here comes the one and only Trey Mitchell of the USA out of Texas. Because Texas is where the big boys are. Yes, it is. Hello, Trey. Welcome back, brother.
Hey, Nick. Thanks for having me back again. You really enjoyed the last one.
Oh, absolutely. We had to catch up. It's been almost 2.5 years, just about, since we had you on. Yeah. So lots to cover, lots to go over. But more importantly, of course, you've upgraded your digs, you upgraded the gym. So how's the new gym treating you?
Oh, it's coming along really well. Like, I'm really enjoying outfitting it with a bunch of cool equipment. Like you can see right behind me, I got a bunch of custom dumbbells from Intech Strength. My coach, Chad Coy, he's buddies with the owner and hooked me up with some custom dumbbells. Got a thick handle, like really feels good when you're doing pressing, and like it really taxes the grip when you're doing some rows. Yeah, but like, yeah, I'm always looking to upgrade the equipment. Always looking to find new stuff. Like, I think the latest thing I found was a back attack.
Ooh.
And like, yeah, his
what
side?
Machine. Huh? A West Side back attack?
Sornex. Sornex is, I think they're the original ones that made the back attack. Is one of the, not the newest model. It's like the first version, but it's like updated. Like the only time I ever got to use one before I got this was when I went to go train with Brian Shaw at his gym, and like I think he got like one of the very first versions, and this must be like a 1.5, I guess. You know.
Cool. Now you're talking about the dumbbells. How heavy do the dumbbells go up to?
Okay, I got a pair of 300s.
Really nice. How often? How many times have you used them?
Not yet. I haven't used it just yet. The heaviest I've gone so far was 210s for 210 pounds for some rows. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, excellent. Well, you can almost do almost like a dumbbell ladder, press it if you wanted to.
Yeah. Definitely, like I can definitely work my way up, and like those thicker handles, they can like kind of almost simulate a circus dumbbell.
Close, yeah, like close to a sear. I always, I like, of course, I have a 210 sear. I use the Thomas Cinch a lot, but I always said like the more dense the dumbbell is, I think the better it is, because you're working the range of motion, and then you can, when you get to like a cylinder or a thicker dumbbell, you're ready kind of be able to work that bigger motion. But it's just a little different technique. But I think for the most part, I think it gets you ready.
Yeah, I agree. Like I have my first dumbbell I ever bought was a 10-inch Rogue Monster dumbbell, and like I filled that thing up so far. It's up to 250 pounds.
Wow.
And like it's more difficult than I believe than the 12-inch, just because, like you said, the thicker range of motion, thicker, but like the bigger range of motion.
Absolutely. And then in the gym, of course, you showed me a picture right before. Are you gonna squeeze in like a wheel of pain in there, or something huge?
I mean, yeah, maybe. A mini version of Wheel of Pain. Have to move some stuff around, to make some room for it.
Do you throw inside as well?
Yeah, the walls are tall enough. They're 16 foot. Like I can throw sandbags.
All right. That's pretty cool. So a pretty good setup. So I think you're going to be ready for whatever contest kind of throws at you going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
just need to figure out like for that I want to try and install like maybe a bar that's hanging from the rafters, probably to make it something to aim at because right now I don't have anything to throw over. So yeah,
Now, does it
that'll be
would that throw you off? Can you throw into space, or do you need something to throw at?
it's better to throw have something to throw over, but like if I'm just practicing to the toss, like the motion, like it doesn't matter. Like I'll try and like simulate, maybe try and arc it, just in my head. Like I'll find a spot to stand on and like okay, I want to make it arc and go like this far behind me, and like I'll do that. I'll practice that, but like yeah, it's definitely more difficult than without having a bar to throw over.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I'm pretty jealous of your setup. So of course, something to strive for one day.
Well, yeah,
So
you got a nice setup yourself.
a little bit. I think it's temporary. We're still looking at kind of houses. So potentially if I'm close, maybe keeping it in the barn, or if I go somewhere else, making a new barn and all. So,
You ever
but
thought a
it's a pretty
barnuminium?
yeah, but yeah, it is pretty much a barn minium. So because we're upstairs in the barn,
Yeah.
so I hope like right now I have a great static setup. So of course I got my log, I got my block set up, I got my tsunami bars. I'm gonna bring another tsunami bar over soon. If it can fit in the Kia, I'll put another one in. But I still might borrow someone's pickup to put it in. I don't know if you ever see my Super Max tsunami bar. It's the only one they ever made.
Yeah.
But it's just extremely long. But you can load it up to like 800 pounds. I've yet to do
Mm.
that, but that's my plan. And then I'm trying to. I want to have a. My goal is to have like a steer dumbbell set. So
Yeah, that'd
we'll
be
get like
nice.
Mm-hmm.
get an inch. I get it. Have it my 210, maybe a 240, 260 or something like that, or a 110 and 120 kilos. So I
Yeah.
just run it. So that's the goal. So once I have that, you'll have to visit the press barn. That's
Yeah,
that.
definitely, and
That's what I name it.
need to have some guys come and train here too, like it's empty, just training by myself, all this space.
Speaking of which, is Austin? You made any plans with Austin and Nick to come over to train for the Arnold?
uh no, we were trying to like me and some guys were gonna make a training camp up in Detroit with my coach Chad Coy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're sticking with their coaching like Tim, like they're gonna be sticking with their plan and following that, but like we're definitely like in the future maybe worlds, have them come train here because I loved it when got to go train with them for the Arnold in 23. Like I went to did a little week training camp with them, and because they didn't have anything they were training for, so they could just help me do whatever I needed. But like you know probably for worlds they're gonna come down here or I'll go stay with them for a week.
All right, cool. Well, that'll be very exciting. But this will be your third Arnold. Is that correct?
Yes. I did 22, 23, and like last year I had to take off because of the Achilles.
No, absolutely. Well, we got to spend a lot of time at the SBD booth, so those are memories
Yeah.
that I'll cherish forever. But
Yeah,
I'm excited.
that was a good time, just hanging out, and we stayed like an hour and a half, like we stayed like a half an hour after like our scheduled time just because we were chit chatting.
We went the extra miles for our fans. That's what we
Yeah,
did.
exactly.
But I'm excited for you to be back on the stage because big things are gonna happen. So compared to other preps, how's this prep going compared to other Arnolds? Give me some Maya. Stop it. Sorry, she's ferocious. But yeah, how are these preps going? How's the prep going? Yeah, fill us in.
uh, let's see. I would say this prep is going a lot better than the previous Arnold's. Like 22, I didn't have any coach. I didn't come on with Chad Corey at the time. Like in that one, like I was very worried. I was got a couple of injuries, like a back injury, and uh, it was like either an adductor or a hamstring. Like it was kind of weird in between. Like I pulled something, so it was hard to like do rehab for that, and like other little bangs here and there, like during that prep. So I was a little worried about how I performed on that one going into that show. 20, 23, I was a little more confident. Like there was like a couple of events I was a little worried about, like the stone throw, like, and hopefully they never bring that back again. Like, but like, yeah, I was a little worried about some of the events going into that show. But like this year, like I'm really confident on the events they have.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
like
looks like it.
training's going really well.
So they have the usual events, and then they also have the kind of of course, some great static events, like pretty much like a max overhead with the big jerk, and then they have the elephant bar. Um,
Hmm.
now with those lifts, do you have any goals that you want to hit like in training? Like if like for instance, like if I hit, let's just say like 450 or 460 for a double, I'll be really excited leading into the Arnold. But do you have any big goals like or like any goal
Uh,
weights that you're trying to hit in training?
Maybe for the elephant bar, like I don't have anything like plan. Like I think like we said you wanted to talk a little bit about the Giants live deadlift.
Oh yeah.
Leading into that one, like my best deadlift because the prep, like all last year, like my just getting my body back from the Achilles, like lifting wasn't going the way I wanted, especially like the deadlift and like squats because of the just the extra weight on the the ankle.
Mhm.
uh, like the heaviest deadlift I hit going into that prep was only 835, for a triple. So I feel like if I can get, maybe an 880 triple this prep, I think I'm gonna hit some good numbers on the elephant bar.
So you end up hitting 200 pounds more on that triple in competition. And what was it? When was that triple? Like 2 or 3 weeks out?
Yeah, I would say like it was 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks out.
All right. Wow. And then
Yeah.
because you did the Shaw like 6 or 7 weeks prior, and
Hmm.
I think you hit like was it like 920 ish or something like
Yeah, it
that?
was either 920s or 930, somewhere in between.
Okay.
But
All right.
it was kilo weights. So
So did your body or was your peak just that much better for Vegas versus the Schmo?
yeah, like my body was the prep went can't talk. The prep went a lot better, and like I feel like my body was woke up because like even like leading into the deadlift at Smo, my the heaviest I hit was a 820 for a triple, and like just the day before the warming up for the deadlift, like my body was just wrecked, just didn't feel good. But as soon as I hit that first attempt at smoke, like it just like it flew up in my body. It's just like, oh, I remember what this feels like again. You know, so like yeah, it's just like leading in like Giants live prep was a lot better. Like the body wasn't as beat up, and uh, I had that confidence back hitting the big numbers at Smo.
Oh, interesting. So you kind of needed the prep for Schmo leading for the Giants max
Yeah,
deadlifts. It was almost
yeah,
a nice
like
primer.
like that was on like so last year I did World Strongest Man, just like 6 months post surgery, and then like didn't do anything leading up until Smo just to try and get my body back to handling heavier weights and try to be as 100% as I could for the show, and then maybe I could have had another smaller show, might have helped me, but like hindsight's 2020.
Oh, interesting. So maybe you had a little more in you, but of course, but you still got it all out of you in
Yeah,
Vegas. So yeah, ended up
yeah.
working. James Jeffers wants to chime in and says multiple polls of 1,000 because he did the 1,000 and the 1,034. Is that it or 1,036?
Yeah, so it was 1,037. So we did a thousand
37.
pound. We did 1,000 pounds. What was it? Nine, 427 kilos or
Mhm.
something like that. Kilos or whatever. But the previous attempt was 1,000 pounds, and then the next attempt, I took all the attempts at the show just to I don't know like uh I wasn't paying attention. I was just trying to stay in my own head, just I put in music and in between the attempts, and just like, all right, whatever is on the bar, just pull it, and then we hit the 470 deadlift, and just like I had to hitch it, and just like, I know I'm not going to be able to go up, but I was happy. I was really happy.
Absolutely, it was huge. It was world record of sorts, and of course the straight out American record. So it was pretty awesome. Thor's Hammers chimed in and saying, "I hope you get 501 on the Elephant Bar."
Yeah,
Um,
thanks, Thor.
so now you'll have only three attempts at the Arnold. So now will you try to play a little strategy for your opener, and then see what the other guys do, and then maybe go for the world record? Because I imagine if they allow you to go for the world record, maybe they'll give you extra attempts. So maybe you can do your first 3 attempts to focus on the competition and gain points for the competition. Maybe they'll give you a 4th to go for the world record. Are they still doing that, or is it in the rules? I know it's a long list of rules.
Yeah, it's a long list of rules. I was just skimming it earlier today, but like, yeah, I didn't read that part. If we were going to get a 4th attempt, like, that would be the smart thing to do. Is just maybe do the maybe go with a lighter opener in the 900, like low light 900s. See how the body feels. Then let's see about 475 kilo deadlift, on the elephant bar, and then
Mhm.
go for the world record
All right, excellent.
if it's only 3 attempts.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. And then, do you have any numbers that you're tuning around for the big jerk?
Uh, for the big jerk, we're allowed to take as many attempts as we want. So like I was going like we were just like opening it up at like a 370 opener is the first attempt that they having on the bar for the men. But like I know I can do that easy. Probably go with opener of the 400s just to save energy. But like it could also be like like I know like the last time we had this event was the in 22 World Strongest Man. We had the Flintstone lift was a similar, but like that was so because they were using stones as the weights, so it felt a whole lot different than weight actual plates. So you might want to just open up with the lightest weight and just to see how the bar feels.
Sure. Now, is it definitely going to be plates at the Arnold, or will they do something different?
They have not said yet,
All right.
and we haven't got any updates. They just said it will be Olympic style, so that could be anything. Just an
Yeah.
Olympic bar with some sort of weight on it. I know, like with Rogue as the equipment sponsor, they always like to try to do something new and crazy.
Interesting. I wonder if they'll do something like elongated or something that's a little more whippier than usual. It would be,
Yeah, so,
be pretty interesting. Or you will see what four reds on a bar if they did, like, let's just say bumpers. So say they did like Olympic bumpers. That's 44. So it'd be like potentially like 4 reds and someone might get up to like 4 reds and a yellow. That would be 250 kilos or
yeah.
550. So that'll be a good amount of weight. Now, how you feel about the rest of the events? Any of them are you pretty excited for? Any of them that you're not looking forward to?
Uh, let's see. Like I really like the stone to shoulder. Just like never had that in the competition. I've only done it like a few times in training, just to like play around and get something to get stronger with. So that'll be interesting event to see what I can actually do with.
All right, all right, interesting.
And obviously not looking forward to the frame carry. They have that every.
Is Chad coaching you up on the frame at all? Has he been instilling any of his grip magic?
We've always been trying something, just anything we could think of. Like, it's mostly the problem is mostly the nerve damage in
Mhm.
the hand. Like, can we pause this for a second?
Uh,
Um,
you can, yeah, we could take a here. I can take you
oh,
off for a second.
it's no like I just needed. I have my headphones in.
Oh, do you?
I'm about to die.
Oh, we're switching up. So here I can talk to the chat for a second. James Jeffrey mentioned that he wants to see a 600-pound press. And then just a quick shout out to my buddies. So hello, Brad, how are you? And Nicholas, thank you for being a member. And then, of course, our buddy Nico chimed in. Nico's show is coming out on Discovery Channel in a couple weeks. Are you gonna watch it a week from tomorrow?
I'll definitely give it a shot.
Are you a tuna guy by any chance?
Give that again. Like for some reason my phone doesn't want to switch from the headphones, but so let's see. Give it to me again.
All
What
right.
was it?
Are you a big tuna guy?
Tuna guy?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a big fan. Mostly I just eat catfish.
Yeah. All right.
But
Well,
like I've seen videos of the guys that fish tuna, and like that seems like an extreme sport.
absolutely. Well, you should tune in Nico's show. But besides competing, so it's gonna be a great competition, 6 events. So everybody tune in and watch Trey dominate at the Arnold, late February, early March. But anything else at the expo you're getting excited for? Are you planning to kind of walk around and enjoy the expo on Sunday?
Yeah, definitely. Like on Sunday, like obviously, like us SBD athletes, we get a do a little booth appearance for our fans. Happen, but like come and say hi to us. But like obviously, like there's always something to see there at the expo. Yeah, like I Stanley run into Arnold a couple of times.
Yeah, absolutely. How many times have you met him so far?
Let's see. Actually, like went up and said hi to him like once. Like he was at the 22 show. Like he was watching us do the back slog, and like I can't turn around after my last attempt, and he was there, and it's like get the old predator high five, handshake. Uh, my first time I ever did a Arnold was the Arnold Australia, and like
Yeah.
we went on stage for the award ceremony. And he presented the trophy to the guy that won next to me. It's like, all right, first time get this close to Arnold. Oh,
Have him. All right.
like,
Uh,
he's right
that's
there.
I think this will be my 7th Arnold this year, and I've still yet to meet him. So I'm very jealous. So maybe I'll be in your shoes. But that's exciting. I was gonna say come over to the animal cage on Friday, but you'll be competing. So
Yeah.
I'm doing a Max Log showcase on
Oh,
Friday.
sweet.
Yeah. So
Get some strongman in the animal cage for a change. That'll be cool.
absolutely. There hasn't been, of course, Nadia Stowers did some log last year, but there hasn't been like a strongman in there since like Grant Haga. So
Oh yeah.
so I'm pretty excited for it. But we're gonna kind of move on from the Arnold and talk a little bit about Worlds going forward. But we got to take a quick commercial break. So grab a sip of water and take a look at this Tsunami Bar ad.
Are you ready to shake up your training? Are you ready for your next challenge? Tsunami Bar Sports is here to boost your power, stability, and coordination. Whether you're superloading and using it to target barbell-centric movements or using it for ballistic weighted plyometrics for more sport-specific purposes, the Tsunami Bar has you covered. Our patented and flexible barbell technology is designed to help you improve in all things human performance. Discover the difference at Tsunami Bar Sports today. Visit tsunamisports.com to learn more. Use CANBY10 for 10% off of any Tsunami Bar product, or pause the screen and use the QR code. Now back to the show.
Have you messed around with the Tsunami Bar yet, Trey?
I think I've only ever used it once, like back in 22. Like I wasn't even trying to like some guys were using it in the gym I was working out at, and like just hit a couple of like warm up squats with them, and like it felt like I had like good form on it. Just like I felt like I was standing straight up, like the torso was completely vertical. It just felt like that, and just like, this feels pretty good.
Mm.
But like also during that training session, I forgot to put the clamp on, the correct clamp, and like the side spotter almost weight slowly sliding off bar, clicked his nose when it fell
Oh,
off.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I was standing behind it, and it's like it was enough time to not be able to react.
oh, interesting. So yeah, they have the croc lock, so it's a lock that goes through the bar and then it goes around it. So it
Yeah,
usually stays out pretty tight. But I'm pretty sure Chad Coy has one. So
yeah,
maybe
that's who I was working out with.
all right.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So heading into Worlds. Worlds is going to be back in Sacramento, which is they had it, of course, in Myrtle Beach the last 2 years. So potentially some changes this year. So like 25 guys instead of 30. I think not everybody's going to be doing the same events like the last 2 years. So maybe there'll be like one different event compared to the last couple of years where everybody was doing the same item. And then actually, I think I would say those are the main changes. Probably some more before. I hope they still have 30 athletes because I'm kind of a fringe guy right now. I got to re-earn it in Europe's, but your course looking good with your kind of automatic invite. Now, would you like, for instance, like leading into Worlds, like would you focus on like any different conditioning or different body composition heading into Worlds versus like the Arnold?
Yeah, definitely. Like the Arnold's more static based, so you want to be a little bit bigger, be able to fill out your body more for the static lifts. So like Worlds, like it's always like Chad always says, is a track meet. You got to be more athletic and faster because they like to do more medleys and not as maximal weight. So like I'm definitely going to be working on being more agile and moving around with my body weight more often. Like conditioning wise, like every training session I always start with like a 10-minute bike ride just to get the blood flowing and just to work on that long form conditioning aerobics. But like definitely need to work on being faster with sprints and transitioning from one plane motion to the next.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be it'll be pretty interesting because it gets pretty hot in Sacramento. I thought it was hot last year in Myrtle Beach, but it'll be probably even hotter in Sacramento. But I imagine that's no hotter than Texas in mid-May, right?
Yeah, like Texas, like we're just as hot. Like like definitely like in my area, like we deal with a lot of humidity. So as long as the heat is also trying to cook you too, with the convection.
Yeah.
Definitely like with this gym or whatever, I paid a little bit extra money for the insulation, but like it did not help last summer. Like it was still like 95 degrees in here, so it still feel like a Sacramento heat.
All right, so it'll be good training. Are you planning on getting on a AC unit?
Yeah, maybe eventually. Like I'll spring for a couple of mini splits. Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Definitely. Like eventually, like in here, I'd like to install a bathroom and like a loft, so people that come and train with me, they have somewhere to stay. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Of course, that'd be great. And then you just we'll start kind of building out the compound and all. But overall, of course, the 2 times that you competed in Sacramento, I think if I remember right, you took 6th and 4th, right? Was that correct?
So like 21, I took 4th. I think by like either a half a point or 1 full point behind Maxime in 3rd place, and then 22, I took 6. But like everybody that ahead of me was everybody ahead of me was podium finishers. So like we had Tom Stolman 1st place, got it. Like got so we got Martins and Novikov. They were winners. We had Brian Shaw that was ahead of me, and and Maxime like podium finisher.
All right. So of course some good fond memories of Sacramento, but this time of course we're pushing for the top. So
always pushing for the top.
Absolutely. So it would be very exciting. So yeah, still waiting for a little more information. Of course for Worlds, but it's looking good. They're still playing. They're doing still a lot of replays on the IG of last year's Worlds, but we're slowly getting to it. But last thing I'll say on Worlds, I thought it was interesting because I watched the USA version of Worlds of my group, and then I watched the English version of the Worlds, and I almost thought the English version was better than the USA version. Have you watched both of them?
I haven't watched the last year's, but like in the past I have seen them, and like I do kind of agree that the English versions are better than American versions.
Yeah, they showed me more on the English version, and I think it was better like chopped up too. I think they even like ran longer, and I felt like the American version was just more like rushed. So
I feel like you're correct in that. Like in 21 Sacramento, like I won most of the heat events, and they didn't show but like one of the events, and just like that's kind of disappointing, you know. And it's like I won most of the events, or like so I either tied or won, and like they just showed one of the events I won. Like I think it's just because I wasn't the first guy to go, like the last guy to go out. I was like either the first or the second. And it's just like really, yeah. But it definitely feels more rushed. You know, like gotta do some highlight reels just to do this and that. Like the British version, like is more laid back and shows all the athletes.
Oh yeah. I appreciate it more, and of course I got a little more screen time, so I did enjoy the English version a little more. So I know you kind of did this with like Liz the other day, but Thor's Hammer is asking for any Arnold predictions or put him on events. Of course, I know you're gunning for the top, but like who you think is the other 1 and 2 going into the show?
Let's see, me first place.
Yes.
Austin Aldredis in second place, and Nick Guardione in third place. Texas takeover.
Oh man, that was the Texas 3 of a kind right there.
Yeah,
I'm not much of a poker player, but I think that'd be pretty cool. Of course, we kind of went over this, but Trey's always mixing up new things for his grip. But also, you're playing on a push press, right, for the Arnold?
Yeah, like push press for the big jerk, like here and there. Like I've been trying when my body feels right, or like I remember, like I need to actually focus on practicing power jerk. Like that's a little more doable for me. Like where the power jerk is where you squat underneath it instead of like a split jerk where your legs are split. Yeah, hence the name.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, like in the past, like I was, in my younger years, like when I was an amateur, I could do a pretty good power jerk, like get a decent squat underneath the bar. But it's been so long since I practiced it.
Yeah, I would think a push would be just as strong. Of course, we saw big Tommy Stolman did the big jerk version at the Worlds a couple of years ago with a solid, and he came in second. I think he hit like 528. I think right behind Novikov. So I remember he took second by a solid push press. So I don't think if you definitely have the power. And there's also I don't know if you ever seen him on Instagram at all, but there's a guy named Oleg. He's from the Ukraine, and he just loves behind the back jerks, and he's probably like 5'8", like 300 pounds, but he just has like a 500-pound, like he does like push behind the back, and it just looks really good. But if you have the right arm length and the right limits, a push press is just as good as a split jerk to get under it. So I look forward to that. But this is an interesting question. So you ever consider throwing on a suit maybe for some of these other contests in the future, or you always think you're gonna stay pretty raw?
Like if I really want to get into the suit, I probably need to get a actual dedicated training partner, because those are so hard to get in.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons like I don't use one, is because it's so hard to get on. Like I bought a years ago, I think it was 2021, I bought a squat suit. Probably got a size too small, but like that's what it is. But like it took me like 30 minutes to get a single ply squat suit on.
Yeah, I would think that's pretty tough. I have a suit I borrowed from Nico the Greek Goliath. It's a little bigger on me, but even I could like slip on the shoulders, but that was even tough in itself. So yeah, I can understand something big, but I imagine that suit might not fit you. The suit you bought might not fit you anymore. So maybe
that was a little smaller back then.
Yeah, I think probably time for a new one. And then Nate agrees with us. Nate 5000 agrees with a UK version is always better. So that's good to know for going forward. So I wanted to kind of chat about, of course, your Achilles tear, because you recovered greatly. I remember at the SBD booth saying that your you're coming back to Worlds. You're feeling great for Worlds. You had a great run in that, but you had, of course, a very tough group. And then you went on to do some really great things later in the year. Of course, taking the 2 podiums at Giants Live. So you recovered beautifully. A lot of times other people have taken a lot longer to recover from that. But like some people will say that you're almost better than ever, especially like your deadlift. But like, is there anything that you learned during that time, like during recovery, that you think that might have improved your game or might have helped you in the long run?
Maybe like some recovery methods. Like I did it, like I got turned on to a lot more different recovery methods, like peptides, and bought a shockwave therapy machine, a little portable shockwave therapy. You ever seen those?
Yes, I've seen it at my PT's place.
Yeah, so I was able to find one on Amazon pretty cheap, like $200, and like I use that a lot for my rehab, and like recently I've been keeping up with it, using it more often just for like prehab stuff, just anything like for the longest time, even though like my Achilles would be, is like healed, and like at Worlds, I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. It was still like hurt doing like plyometric stuff, like jumping jacks and things to warm up with. And so like I started doing that just more recovery stuff, and like used it on both my Achilles. My left calf would just get tight and everything, and like it stops hurting now. And like just doing plyometrics doesn't hurt. But like peptides really helped me a whole lot with my recovery, and then I still try and keep up with it. Like
Now, but
like
I was gonna say, like, for instance, like even like in your training or like every day, like I felt when I came back from I had like a torn meniscus after ASM in 2020. And then when I came back from it, I was like, I gotta be more diligent about my recovery and my training, like every little thing. So it almost like improved my game just because like I didn't want to be hurt again. So it kind of made me step up my games in every area. Did you feel like in that same breath that it forced you to?
Yeah, like I always like try and do my recovery, like religiously, pretty much. Like almost every night, I do something. Like I try to at least, like either body tempering, stretching, or foam rolling, massage gun, something. Like leading up to the Rogue, like I wasn't able to just because I was on like a 3 week training camp at Jack's. Like I wasn't around enough stuff to do my recovery. Like, just didn't have like my tools, but like, I was still like body still felt good leading up to it. It's just like little nicks here and there, like any training camp does. But like, I also like, coming on the recovery of the Achilles, I started walking more. Just to when you can't move around for so long, you kind of get stir crazy. So I started walking as soon as I could. Do recovery. Like we're kind of big guys, so like being sedentary is kind of normal. So yeah, whenever I started walking, like I almost got up to because I was also trying to lose weight on the recovery, just because I was so big, I wanted to make it a little easier. I got up to almost 10,000 steps a day, almost, not all the time, but like now, like even after that, like I try and do some walking every day. At the end of the day, I'll do some little bit of walking just to be a little healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, are you also like focusing on like those walks as like for instance, like what Stan Efferton always preaches in the Stan Efferton walks, like walking after meals, and so you're digesting and ready for the next one, or is this more just walking just to get more all the steps in?
Yeah, just to get more steps in. Like every once in a while, like Chad would be like, after training, go and eat, like do some walking after that, just help with the digestion. But it's not like a everyday thing. Just mostly just to get my steps in to be a little bit more healthy.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. But bring another question from our buddy James Jeffers, who's I always say is the Canadian version of the Big Thicket. Are either one of you guys doing the record breakers at the Arnold? I'm not doing it. But is there a record breakers this year, Trey?
I've been told there's not going to be one this year.
All right, all right.
Which is kind of like it's kind of weird because like I don't think they promoted it last year or even at the the year in 23 the Rogue Invitational, they didn't tell anybody they were going to do it until the week before, and just like, all right, man, they have their reasons.
So I guess the only big record is to break the elephant bar. I think that's what it comes down to it.
Yeah. Is there a record for the behind the neck jerk, or like the big jerk?
I imagine is it 246 by Novikov? I imagine that would be the record they're trying to beat. Right?
Like the Flintstone lift. That's what they promoted it as a world record.
Sure, maybe it depends on the set. Like I would think that if maybe they designed it a certain way, it could be like, for instance, if they have like a Austrian, like they have the Austrian oak record for reps, maybe they would have like a behind the back. But I imagine just like in terms of like in the similarities that if they would want to call it the record if someone could break 250 kilos, right?
Yeah.
So I think that would be enough for a record. So I mentioned in the intro, of course, you're after, of course, you're going to be doing Worlds after the Arnold, and then of course you're signed up for the Schmo. But and is there anything else kind of on the agenda or anything that you're looking forward to this year? I imagine probably Giants and Americas or North Americas. Are those on your horizon?
Yeah, I have the Giants Lives coming up. I have the Strongman Classic in London at the Royal Albert Hall, and doing the Strongman Open in Birmingham too. I would love to do the North Americas, but like they moved it to the last weekend in July, and that's just unfortunately too close to the SMO. And like I can't go from a super heavy show into another super heavy show, because like even though like it's a good JF, he puts on a good competition, but it's brutal competition.
Oh yeah, I've always taken a look, and he's known for having the heaviest circuit around, and of course all the Canadians that are listening, is one of the reasons why the Canadians are so strong is because he really pushes them to the limit. So
yeah, they're probably Jeffers probably laughing because they do one show, like a show almost every weekend.
Oh yeah, I think he when he was on the show, I think he did 4 in August, or one year he did 4 in August. So that's pretty wild, right? Also to take a look. So what do you think about if America's lines up? You think you would do America's Strongest again?
Maybe, like if it lines up, because like I think last year's it was before or after the Rogue Invitational?
It was like 3 or 4 weeks before.
Yeah. That's what, I don't really like to do that. I prefer to have the shows spread out to where you can focus on the training with them. Yeah. Like if it's like last year's, I probably could have done that one, and if I got the Rogue Invitational invite, done it. If it lines up to have the same kind of style, I might be able to do it.
All right.
But I prefer to let the body recover.
Absolutely. Now if you got the opportunity, would you ever consider something like the Magnus Classic? I know he has a big qualifier system, but he sounds like he always invites a few big names regardless. But what do you think about a 3-day contest in Iceland?
Yeah, it's a good show. It's a little brutal,
Very.
The freezing cold of Iceland, but outside. But it's I like the idea of having it a kind of the old school style of events where you pretty much don't know exactly what you're going to do, just a general idea, and then go and do it.
Sure. It looks pretty interesting, and then of course a lot of different qualifiers are coming out, so I think that's something maybe potentially on my radar, depending on how the season stakes out. But most importantly, we got to stay healthy. That's the first thing. So we got to at least make it through the year, because it's at the very end. So of course we did it last time on the show, but of course coming back to the one of my favorite topics. But is there anything new these days that really grinds your gears, Trey? Is there anything that of course
nothing that comes to nothing that's popping up, do you have anything to jog my memory or anything, something?
I called him out last week, I can do it again. So I'm on the Nick Hine episode. He had his own with grind my gear, and then did my own grind my gear. I did a little bit on Mitch Hooper. I talked about his content, especially on Instagram, because I feel like he does a lot of low hanging fruit content. So he always goes after like silly things where it's like something that you see like a fit girl doing, or he's doing stuff with fit girl content, but like he's a world's strongest man on earth. I felt like he could do more compelling content, and that stuff is kind of beneath him. In like, and I know he's trying to do like get reviews and stuff like that, but I think he should stick to maybe a little more of a strongman brand and stuff that's more uplifting and interesting. Just per se, I understand the strategy, but that's what I would like to see from a world's strongest man winner.
Yeah, there's those people that just focus on the negative, and like if they don't, they kind of like I said, like negative. They're not trying to uplift other people. I do my best to try and uplift people. Try and like my motive. Like if I share something motivating, I think it's more positive. As opposed to focus on the negative motivation. Like sometimes dark motivation can be what you need. Like what the winter arc. Like I was a little bit of that. Last year. But like, I prefer to be more positive was my motivation. And like you said, like, like I know he definitely, goes for those low hanging fruits, does it for the likes, those kids, that need that quick, the quick, no brain, content just to be able to get the likes.
Well, the Gen Z is called the brain rot content. I think that's what brain rot. I think he's diving into it. But you mentioned a little bit, of course, kind of going to a dark place and stuff like that. I imagine I don't know if you want to touch upon it. Of course, I know that you were looking for potentially at the Rogue last year. I know they didn't call your number, but like for instance, did that give you any motivation to really come back even stronger?
Maybe, yeah, I guess you could say so. Like, I didn't hear anything from them. Some people were saying like, oh, they didn't invite, Trey because he didn't even, bother liking, didn't even bother, thanking the owners for helping them with surgery. And it's like, yeah, I did. Y'all were just making up stuff to make up stuff, just to start drama. Just because they didn't really like say anything, to me, like I was like, I'm gonna do something to where you can't ignore me, like the did that deadlift, you can't really ignore, the current world record raw deadlift,
I mean, you certainly can't ignore that. So yeah, I would think that. I know, of course, the Arnold and of course the Rogue are very similar. So I wasn't sure if they were like, maybe they just wanted to save you a little more for the Arnold versus the Rogue. But I know, of course, they have their reasons. But but regardless, I'm glad you're back in the circuit. That's all that matters. So we're of course we're finishing up on the podcast. So if you guys have any questions for Trey, I would put him in now. So I know, of course, I saw you've been ramping up on YouTube a little bit, posting a lot of shorts. Of course, you got your Instagram. Are you upset at all that TikTok's going away? Of course, I always see you sneaking a lot of my stuff on TikTok. But I heard today. I was going to say, I heard today that Trump might put an executive order in to extend the TikTok unbanned. So he might extend it by a few months or something like that to work out a deal.
Like I'm a little like, because I can find some good motivational videos on the TikTok, and like it's always I get some quotes like some of the stuff I've shared on stories like it's come from the TikToks, but like nah, like it's not like I'm gonna be upset if it goes away.
Yeah, absolutely. I of course I get all my conspiracy theories from TikTok, so I'm a little upset that that avenue is going away. How am I supposed to know what's real and what's fake? I need TikTok for that. But Trey, do you have any big accomplishments that you're looking to through the year? Did you set out some goals in the beginning of the new year that you're looking to hit, or what's your
no specific like weightlifting goals? Probably like I definitely want to win the want to win SMO. Like I won the Shaw Classic twice.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not SMO. Like definitely, I want to make the podium again. Make the podium for the first time at World Strongest Man.
Mm-hmm.
If either, like I'm always aiming for first place, but obviously, like I have big names going against, Hooper and like Tom, like they're, previous winners, and so like definitely think I can, at least make podium, give them
All
a
right.
run.
Absolutely deserve to be up there.
I know I do. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now for the most part, just going through some questions. We got Joseph over here. No question, but I wanted to say that I got Trey standing on the podium in a few weeks, 6 weeks to be exact. Right, six weeks, Joseph. So 6 weeks, Trey's going to be there. And then, of course, you guys are huge. Obviously, we're very huge, Mr. Burger Lover. But for the most part, going into it, so we have the 6 weeks till the Arnold. Now, when do you think you'll cut it down? When do you think will be like your last training session? You think you'll stop like 8 days out or 2 weeks out, or what do you think?
2 weeks probably be my last heavy, and then the week before will just be light stuff, just to keep the nervous system primed.
All right, interesting. So that'll be exciting. But of course, I'm rooting for you, and I'm really excited to watch. I'll see what I can fit in. But again, I'll miss you at the SBD booth. But at least we'll catch up for dinner and talk about the results. But I want to thank everybody, all the members for, of course, always kind of supporting the channel, and of course, thank you for Mr. Trey for coming on, and Trey to finish out the show. Can you leave the members with one piece of advice? So what's a piece of advice that you want to leave the listeners for today's episode?
Let's see, like no matter what your goal is, every day do something to work on it. What doesn't have to be a big step, but as long as you do some little thing that'll help you reach your overall goal, then do it.
So just chip away at it one day at a time. They always say mastery comes 10,000 hours of something that you want to do. Mastery comes in. You chip away at it. So I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Trey, thank you for coming on. And until next time, everybody, stay strong.
Thanks, man.